Judas Revised, Part 2. Internal church building montage. Doug greets people at the door. Cassandra walks right past him and hugs another usher. Cassandra walks around campus. Doug sees her as he sits on a nearby bench. Cassandra ignores him. End montage. Internal church building. Service ends and many people stand around talking. Cassandra gathers her things and stands. She looks up and sees Dan walking towards her. She strides quickly and slips past him. She walks out back door and Dan appears from out of a corner. Cassandra is startled and moves around him. Dan grabs her arm and swings her around. Dan, can you talk to me? I'm worried about you. Spacing out in service, leaving early, avoiding people. What's gotten into you? Are you still wrapped up in what Doug did? It's been weeks. Cassandra furrows her brow and rips her arm away from Dan. Cassandra, I'm fine. Leave me alone. I need to go. I have homework. Dan backs away and takes a sharp breath. Dan, fine. I'd like my friend back. Just remember, unforgiveness is just as dark as the sin that created it. And right now, you are acting like the queen of the underworld. Cassandra storms away, yanks the church door open, and slams it shut. Dan walks back into the sanctuary. External campus day. Cassandra sits at a bench near a building entrance. Cassandra. Yes, Mom, I'm sure the breakup was final. No, I did not make a mistake. I don't care, he betrayed me. Cassandra slams her phone shut and brings out a notepad and a pen. Jane walks past Cassandra, and Cassandra doodles on the edge of her paper. Jane. Hey, I know this is really random, but do you know a Doug Francis? Cassandra winces and looks up at Jane. She nods her head. Jane continued. I thought I recognized your voice. Jane sits down and on the bench next to Cassandra. Jane continued. My name's Jane, but you can call me the other woman. I heard you and Doug yelling that night y'all broke up, and I just want to say, good for you, girl. Cassandra raises an eyebrow. Jane continued. I gave him a good dose of his own meds when I left. Cassandra puts her notebook down on the bench and turns to face Jane. Cassandra, why are you even talking to me? Aren't you mad too? Jane shrugs her shoulders. Jane. I figure once you dealt with it, you dealt with it. It ain't worrying me none what he did. I just move on. Cassandra. You're not pissed? I mean, he two-timed us. Jane. Yeah, but honestly, what's being angry gonna do me in the long run? I'd rather spend my energy chasing these hotties on campus. Jane looks up and winks at a cute freshman as he passes by. Freshman is looking at Cassandra. Jane continued. God, I just feel like a piece of plexiglass. He just looked straight through me. Cassandra laughs. Jane continued. Don't get wrapped up in Doug's drama. It was him that did that. I can't imagine why someone who says they love you can do that. But honestly, I wouldn't let him off that easy. I'd give him a bit of attitude. Sickens me dragging us both through the mud. That's why I gave up on love a long time ago. Cassandra turns and looks at Jane, facing her. Cassandra. What happened? Jane. Same thing that happened to you. Met a guy, told me he loved me, then found him with another girl. He begged for me to take him back, and I did. A few turns on this endless cycle, and I finally dumped him. After a few men using me, I finally decided to use them. I just stopped caring. Cassandra's face softens. Cassandra. How do you not care? Jane shrugs. Jane. You just don't. Honestly, though, one thing I can't stand are cheaters. Moment they do that, they are history. I dumped Doug. I don't know if you knew, but I did. Jane stands and adjusts her backpack. Cassandra. So are you okay with all this? Jane shrugs again. Jane. You never get okay. Just remember what I said. Sometimes not caring spares your heart a few breaks. Take it from me, it's much easier that way. Jane walks away from the building. Cassandra, voiceover. God, have I become as bitter as Jane? Her eyes water, and Cassandra wipes her face with her shirt. External park later. Cassandra sits near a riverbank, skipping stones. She picks one up, throws it, and makes a huge splash as it sinks into the river. Cassandra picks up another stone and twists it in her hand a few times. She smiles contentedly. She chucks the stone across the water and stands. Internal church building. Cassandra sits and watches Dan preach. Dan is passionate and fierce. Cassandra bites her lip and tears out a piece of paper from her notebook. She quickly writes something on it and passes it behind her, a few people over, right to Doug. Doug opens it and it reads, Cassandra, voiceover. I forgive you. Doug smiles at Cassandra and she turns around content. She takes out her notebook and begins to take notes. Fade out.